Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Audrey. I post lifestyle content and content relating to managing a chronic illness. Sorry if you can hear my air conditioner and my ceiling fan and the guy outside mowing the lawn. It is really hot today and I cannot survive without my air conditioner. Today I'm going to be talking about the surgery that I had in December of 2020, which was a thymectomy. If you don't know what a thymectomy is, it's actually when you get your thymus gland removed. If you look really closely, you can actually see my scar. It's gotten a lot better over the months, which has been really nice because it used to be pretty, it's pretty big actually. It used to be pretty dark and red and puffy, and now it's pretty much entirely white with just like a little bit of redness and scarring around it. But I had a thymectomy at the end of December. It was actually a couple days after Christmas, and I had a pretty easy experience with it. I know not everybody who gets a thymectomy is as fortunate as I am. I guess I'll just start from why I got my thymus removed, what the benefits were and are going to be, and just kind of my whole experience with it and the different ways that they can do the surgery. So I'm just going to talk about all of that. I was admitted to the hospital at the beginning of October to begin Ivig. If you don't know what Ivig is, it's intravenous immunoglobulin, and it means that they're basically infusing good antibodies into my blood to help protect my immune system because myasthenia gravis is an autoimmune disease. Ivig actually helps to manage the symptoms. I think of it as kind of like a safety net for me. They admitted me to the hospital to administer that for the first time and just monitor me, just make sure I was tolerating it well, because some people don't tolerate it well. I'm very fortunate and very thankful that I actually, over the months, have tolerated it very well. I don't get it anymore, but when I was getting it, I was tolerating it very well. So when I was in the hospital at the beginning of October, they actually did a CT scan on my chest because they wanted to see if my thymus was enlarged or if I had a tumor on it, which actually is quite often a cause of myasthenia gravis because it'll produce the wrong, like incorrect antibodies is the best way I know how to explain it. Those will start the symptoms for myasthenia gravis, and that's where the diagnosis will come from for a lot of people. Some people have a tumor on it called a thymoma, or if yours is just enlarged. Mine was actually enlarged. There wasn't a tumor on it, but I had what they called residual thymus tissue. It's part of your immune system when you're a child, and it's supposed to shrink when you hit puberty. And I guess for me, mine just, I don't think ever shrunk properly. It was probably one of the causes for me for why I got myasthenia gravis or why I started having symptoms for it. In recent years, there have been a lot of studies with young people who've had thymectomies, and that actually oftentimes will lead to remission. I'm 24 years old. I was 23 at the time of surgery, and I was 23 at the time of diagnosis as well. They recommended that I get it removed, and the way that they removed it was the most non-invasive way that they could. It was a same-day surgery. It was pretty quick, actually. I think it was only about an hour and a half or 2 hour surgery. So what they did was a transcervical thymectomy. What that means is they cut an incision in my neck, they went under my rib cage, and then they removed the thymus gland. The other two types of thymectomies that people, a lot of times, especially in the MG community, get are robotic thymectomies, or I believe they're called like full sternotomies. Not 100% sure on that one, but essentially they crack your entire chest open. That one has the worst recovery period because they're cracking your whole chest open. The robotic thymectomy is actually, they'll create a couple of incisions in your ribs, and then they'll go in with basically like robotic arms and remove it that way. And that one also has a pretty, not a long recovery time from what I understand, but it's more of an intense recovery than what I got. Again, it was a transcervical thymectomy. I was very, very fortunate to have such a short recovery period for my surgery. I was back up and going within a couple of days, honestly. I did take like a week or two to really make sure that I was all good to go and all set, but I felt pretty normal like a few days after. I wouldn't say the next day, because I did have some pain when I was breathing, and I think that was just from the breathing tube that they had to put in me during the surgery. Otherwise, it was pretty it was fine. Honestly, it was quite fine. In the months following the thymectomy, actually, by the end of January, so I think my surgery is at the end of December. So at the end of January, I was actually experiencing an uptick in symptoms again. At the time of surgery, I was on 40 milligrams of prednisone, and a couple of weeks after, my neurologist thought it was fine to put me down to 30 milligrams because I was doing pretty well. But my symptoms actually kicked up again and got worse, and so I had to go back on Ivig, and eventually she did kick me back up to 40 milligrams, which was not the ideal situation, but it was what needed to happen, and I'm thankful that she used her best judgment. She didn't really want to do it, but she knew that we both knew that that's what had to happen. So I think I'm about 8 or 9 months post-op now. They say that the time that people who get a thymectomy will start to really, especially with myasthenia gravis, will start to really see the results or like feel the effects of it, or it's 6 to 12 months after the surgery. I've actually been doing symptom-wise very well the last few months, so much so that I'm actually only down to now 20 milligrams of prednisone and continuing to taper off of it. Things have been going very well. I'm very fortunate and very thankful that the surgery went really well, and my treatment so far has been awesome. I'm still less than a year after my diagnosis. I was diagnosed at the end of September, and today is August 27th, I think, of 2021. So I am nearing my 1-year anniversary of my diagnosis. I'm still less than a year with battling this, and I will be battling it for the rest of my life because it is a chronic illness. So that was the story of my thymectomy. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in a comment below. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.